On the 20th of April this year, a young man from Enfield embarks on his 8th professional boxing match. Coached by Jimmy and Mark Tibbs, Frank Buglioni is one of Britain's best young boxing prospects, who many experts believe is already well on his way to the top of the sport. BoxRec News caught up with Frank Wise Guy Buglioni for a chat after his morning workout at the TKO Gym in East London.
Well, I've absolutely loved it. Couldn't have asked for anything better. And yeah, I mean, my debut went great against a good, solid opponent. And then I fought a couple of weeks later against another good boy. Scored 2 first-round knockouts, so couldn't have asked for a better start. And then I've just progressed and learned, and I think there'll be a big improvement in this next fight. I think the year as a pro makes all the difference, and then that's when you start really sort of stepping up, and you know whether it suits you or not. So. Eder Kurti, English Albanian fella, very strong. He's had about 19 fights, only lost 3 or 4, and I've seen 2 of the fights he's lost, and he won them both. So yeah, he's more like an unbeaten fighter. I actually sparred him when I first turned over, and we had a very good spar. He was very strong, come forward. He's solid around his core, so he knows how to sort of hold the centre of the ring and close it down. He's an experienced boy, about 28, 29, so he knows his stuff, so it'll be a good little test for me. I think probably against Paul Morby was a good performance, to go out there and do what I did to Paul Morby, who's been the distance with some good fighters. He's been at Southern Area level. I think he even held the Southern Area title for a couple of fights. So to go out there and get him out in a round I think was probably one of my best performances. But technically, I think maybe the Joe Ray performance, I was happy with that. That was on the back of Jody McKell, where I went the distance against a journeyman that sort of tricks his way through and holds and basically uses all his clowning to go the distance. But so I looked at that fight and I looked at my mistakes, and we went back to the drawing board, focused on the jab again, body shots coming up and down, and it worked to a T against Joe Ray. So I was very pleased with the improvement from that fight to that one. So. But hopefully it'll be the big improvement to this one, and I'll be saying this will be the best performance of my career. Yeah, definitely a pressure fighter. I try and impose my strength for my size. I'm quite big at super middle, so I definitely try and impose that on fighters. Against McKell, I was giving away a little bit of weight as well, and I still feel I had the edge in strength and power. But obviously I wasn't landing the really flush shots that I'm used to. So, and I looked at that and I looked at why I wasn't setting up enough with a jab. So no, I learned a hell of a lot from that fight, and it was a good learning fight. No, I mean for that fight, I was trying to sort of hook to the body, so bring his hand down and slow him down, but could have set him up a little bit more. But I suppose my right hand left hook is probably my best combination, so that does the most damage in sparring, and so I'll be looking to implement that. No, I mean Frank Buglioni, he's done a great job for me. Dean Powell, he's made some great matches as well, so I can't fault anything. I know there's a lot of politics that go on, and there's a lot of hearsay, but personally I can only go by how they treated me, and they treated me fantastically. So obviously I remain loyal and just keep improving and keep progressing with Warren Promotions. I mean, well, it's another 5 weeks to get even sharper and do a little bit more learning. That's why you got to look at it. Obviously, you don't want to taper too early, so I took a week off and then rebuilt. So done a strength and conditioning foundation again. I did that in La Manga last week. So built up my strength and fitness back again after the week off, and then I'll start sharpening up this week with some good sparring and then just peak for the new date. Yeah, I mean, well, this is my 8th fight, and I'm moving on to the 8 rounders now. I'm scheduled for 2 8 rounders, so depending on how well I do in those 8 rounders, then we'll look at maybe going for sort of 10-round title fights, say southern areas. But again, there's no rush, and it's all going to be gauged on how well I do in these 8 rounders, and obviously what me and Mark do in the gym. I've done 10 rounds sparring, but that's not to say I can do 10 rounds in the ring in front of all the people with the nerves and good quality opponents and smaller gloves. So I'll just take it from here and hopefully just improve, learn, and then look at these fights as and when they come. I was fortunate enough to spend a lot of time with Cole Frotz whilst I was on the Olympic team, and he always said to me, boxing is a long career if you do it right. And when he turned pro, he said, I'm going to give myself 10 years, dedicate my life, eat right, live right. And look at him now, he's at the top of his game, and he's got another 2-3 years possibly still in him, and he's had a 10-year career. So I look at people like that and I think that's the way you got to go. You don't want to be rushing into these hard fights and shortening your career and doing damage to yourself when you can maybe prolong it a little bit more and then stay at the top for longer. So I'll definitely be looking to take my time, be patient, and then hopefully be there for the long haul. To be compared to either of those is a pretty big compliment, and if I can follow in their footsteps, then I'll be absolutely overjoyed. But no, I'm just trying to carve out my own sort of path. I look up to all the top fighters. I think you've got to respect what they've done, and if you can learn from them and maybe just change things to suit yourself, then that's the way I'll go. Obviously, they wanted to see me sort of achieve and do well in whatever I chose. My mum was more sort of into the education side of things. I think she wanted to see me do the building surveying and architecture and that sort of thing. And obviously, my dad loved this sport, so when I was doing well at sport, he was encouraging me that side. But at the end of the day, they both want to see me do well, and they support me 100% whatever I choose. But I couldn't thank them enough for what they've done for me. They've done a great job. Well, I walk around about 12-10, so yeah, I'm big for super middle, but my diet's good, and I don't get drained when I get to 12 stone. I made it quite comfortable for all my fights, and I've been strong and fit at that. So I think I can definitely stay at super middle for a good few years, and if the time's right and I do start to struggle, then I'll definitely think about moving up. Yeah, I was. I've done most sports when I was a kid. My dad was good like that. He let me sort of go into anything I wanted to do, and if I enjoyed it, then I'd sort of carry on. But yeah, football. I like my football, but I was never sort of. I was very inconsistent with the football, and I was one of the smallest sort of growing up. So I used to get pushed off the ball and that sort of thing. So yeah, I tried the boxing. I always wanted to box. So. And then as soon as I started boxing, yeah, I loved it, and packed everything else up and focused solely on the boxing. And that's strange for a kid of sort of 13 to just focus solely on one sport, but that was it. I knew boxing was for me.